It's marvellous to have you with us. We're here on foot, obviously. By that I mean we're not in a car. My name is James Henry. Senzo is on camera. Rexon is on security detail and tracking today. That's this little party. Then we have Gendre and Noel. They're heading down towards, I think, Buffelshoek Dam, where the Lions were yesterday. We've got Scott out with Manu, as far as I'm aware, on the eastern side of the Great Mara River. And we have Taylor McCarty and Jahawi, a.k.a. Lenny Kravitz, on camera on the western side of the Mara River in the Triangle. That is the team for today. We have the terrifying combination of Kirsten McLennan-Smith and Ashley Wall, both fiery redheads in the final control room today, so we will attempt very much to behave ourselves. Good. You are the most important part of what we do, so please talk to us as we go through the day. Hashtag Safari Live, or you can use the YouTube chat stream. We'd like your questions, your comments, any pieces of advice you'd like to give to us. The one thing that I'm waiting for somebody to tell me is what date it was that we saw the woodland kingfisher on yesterday. Whether that has slipped through the cracks of Twitter or not, I don't know, but that's what I want to know. Not yesterday, last year. Yes, when did we see the woodland kingfisher last year? That would be wonderful to know. We found out about the impala lambs and that sort of thing. They seem to be at least 2 or 3 weeks earlier than they were last year. And so those are the sorts of things you can talk to us about. Our plan this morning is going to be to head down towards the south, towards Treehouse Dam. Rexon has informed me today that he would like to track and find a leopard on a kill. So with any luck, that is precisely what we'll do. We'll begin by going down towards Treehouse Dam, because that was the last place that we saw Shadow's cub, whose name is not Barbara. And we'll hopefully find her sitting perhaps on a small kill. I forget how old she is now. She must be 6 weeks, 11 months, almost a year old. She's probably, she must be almost, maybe 6 weeks shy of a year. So it'd be interesting to see her again. She's in that wonderful stage that young leopards get to, where they're inquisitive and very happy to be around human beings. Then we have got some impala over there. Chitty Chatty Meg, you're wondering what I mean by somebody on security detail. Well, I'll show you Rex on there. He will now demonstrate his finest military pose. There he is. Rex is on security detail. He carries... Basically, his main job is to walk in front of us. His main job is tracking, actually. But because I am not looking around myself, I'm looking into the camera and thinking about what to say next. My attention can't be on this, what we call 360-degree awareness. If you're walking in a wilderness area like this, you have to have 360-degree awareness, otherwise you might miss a buffalo lying behind a tree, or some lions trying to stalk you. Very unusual, but that sort of thing you don't want to be missing. And so that's what Rex's job is. His job is basically as the guide. He makes the security decisions, and that's basically what his job is. And that's what I mean when I say security detail. Good. On we go. We had some impala over there. I think they probably had a fairly wet night, and with any luck, they will be very pleased with the amount of greenery that is going to develop on this clearing as a result of the rain. We're going to head across now to Noel, who is there, and hopefully she will pick up on the Nkahuma pride.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's not raining, but it did rain quite a bit last night, which is fabulous, fabulous. We do need rain. I just didn't feel like being wet and cold this morning. I am Noel, and on camera we have Gendre. Hello, Gendre.
Hello.
Gendre saying hello. Today is not so bad. It's about 21, which means that it's about 60-something Fahrenheit. It is overcast. I couldn't decide if I was hot or cold this morning because the humidity has popped up. Remember, with our drive, we are live. It is interactive. You can follow us, hashtag Safari Live on the Twitter. And the YouTube, you can follow us and ask questions on the YouTube chat. So James, you are correct. We are going to go look for the Nkuhumas. Something interesting about the Nkuhumas that I learned from Herbie, one of our scouts the other day, is if you say Nkuhuma, it means brown ivory. And as far as he knew, this pride was born or had something to do with the brown ivory tree. Jandre is shaking his head yes. But if you say kuhuma, it means to enter, like a doorway. So we were just discussing the words. Now look, with my accent, I butcher the Shonga and the Tsonga language. I do try my best. But yes, just as our little fun fact for the day. So we're going to head towards Biffleshoek Dam. We're going to see if we can pick up any tracks, and hopefully the lions themselves, because they were full-bellied yesterday afternoon. Not super full, but full enough. And then we will see if maybe we get lucky with any sort of activity. It is beautiful weather for them to be moving around. Maybe we get lucky and do Woodlands Kingfisher. I think most of us have gone over our bets for this scenario with when they come, but because we've had some nice big rains, maybe they'll make their way down. As we go searching for the Nkuhumas, we are going to head up to Taylor, who is up in East Africa in the Masai Mara, as we know, who is bumbling around, or she might have something for us. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see you all just now.
Good morning, everybody. Look at what we've got. A herd of stripes streaming down from the escarpment on their way down to the valley floor to get some breakfast, I suppose, which we'll be doing not quite right now. We're only going to have breakfast a little bit later this morning. I suppose I better introduce myself. So, my name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Jar, and this is live and interactive. If it is your first time watching Safari Live, remember to always hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can chat to us via the YouTube chat. Now, we're not going to hang around here for too long. We're actually going to head to the far southwest. That's our plan this morning, because the top of the triangle is particularly quiet, so we better try one of the other corners. So we're going to bounce around on the Tanzanian border, I think, today. We'll see how it goes. There's so much that could be down there. We haven't been down there for a while. We could see some male lions, we could see some leucistic hyena, we could see cheetah, the border boys, we could see kakenya. There are many different animals down that way. So we're going to race all the way along this. We're going to basically go to Serena. We're going to go hug the Mara River, because that's also quite a popular spot for some animals. Maybe there'll be some small pockets of wildebeest, but that's going to be the goal this morning. But you know, things change. If we see something very exciting along the way, we'll probably stop and have a look at them too. But in the meantime, Scott has decided to start his morning off with the largest bird in the world.
Good morning, everyone. And yes, Manu has stopped and put the camera on this ostrich, and what a beautiful scene it is. I've been scanning the plains while he's been doing his fancy camera work on that bird, and I've been scanning these plains in the hope that we will find the 5 musketeers, 5 male cheetah. They were in this general area yesterday, and we're hoping, with a little bit of searching around and help from the other guides, that we will get lucky and find them again today. My name is Scott, and like I said, I am teamed up with Manu on camera. If we don't find the 5 musketeers, that's not the end of the world. Maybe we'll head back towards Malaika and her 2 boys who we spent some time with yesterday afternoon. They were very hungry. They had one attempted hunt while we were with them yesterday evening. They failed, so they could well be hunting this morning if they haven't already done so. So our plan is to find cheetah at some point. We're going to be spending the whole day out. So even if we don't get lucky during the safari, we may get lucky between the safaris, and then we'll be doing some action broadcasts. So that's the plan for us. We're on the opposite side of the river to where Taylor is, in the Mara Reserve, not the triangle. And it's a beautiful morning. We had a little bit of rain as we started out, which was quite bizarre because it was so clear. We had beautiful sunshine coming through. It was a fantastic scene with all the raindrops being illuminated by the rising sun. And it looks like it may be a bit of a cloudy day, but what I've realized in the last few weeks is that the weather in the Mara at the moment is hugely fluctuational. At one moment it's raining, the next thing it's sunny, so we could expect 4 seasons in one day. That's kind of the general weather pattern at the moment. It's always tricky to decide which roads to take when on the search for animals, because of course one road may lead you to them and another road may lead you away from them. They were further to our west. I've just got an inkling that maybe they're going to head back a little bit east into an area where they have been spending a lot of time, an area called Hamakop. So, time will tell. Well, they'll be getting hungry too. Their last kill they made was not yesterday, the day before lunch. To 36 hours they will make a kill, and it'll be great to see them in action.
Hello everybody, we've got some zebra there, but that's not the most important thing. We've just heard some elephants over here, so we're going to try and approach and get a view of them on foot. Come on then. We just stopped for those zebra, and we heard the crashing and breaking of branches, indicating the presence of elephants. Rexon came to check it out, and then he did this, which doesn't mean bird, it means flapping elephant ear. So we'll approach very cautiously down through here. Senzo, what are you doing? He got stuck. Suddenly he plummeted to the ground. I thought he'd been taken by a scorpion. Now the zebra have seen us, so they're alarm calling. They're going, and the elephant will be aware of that. Now you can see especially how important it is to have Rex on in a situation like this, because I can't pay attention to what's going on around us. We're now approaching elephants, so he will give us the direction as to what to do. This is most exciting indeed. I'll just quickly tell you that we have had some feedback from Morning Glory on the sighting of the first woodland kingfisher last year, and that was on the 21st of November. So we've had early woodland kingfishers and early impala lambs this year. Now, don't get stuck here again, please, Senthor, old buddy, old pal. We're getting into a position now. Rex can see them. He's giving me the thumbs up. But I think they're moving down towards the drainage system, so we're going to move quite quickly. And there's a termite mound here, we'll get up onto the top of that, give us some vantage. Quite thick around here, so you want to be very careful. Testing the wind. Almost always the wind in this area when there's a cold front. Oh, there he is. Okay, I can see him. Blows from the southwest. Southeast, sorry. There are a whole lot of them. There's a herd. Good morning, everybody watching us here, there on social media. You find us in southeastern South Africa in the Greater Kruger National Park, watching elephants live on foot. My name is James Henry. Senzo is on camera, and it's marvellous to have you with us. You can send us any questions or comments you'd like to. We're going to sit with these elephants for a little while and see what they get up to. We're sitting, like I say, on the western fringes of the great Kruger National Park on a place called Djuma, and those elephants constitute a small herd. Apparently we're not on Facebook. Okay, well, let's just carry on enjoying them. Now, it's quite thick in here, so we're not going to get any closer. And this termite mound provides beautiful cover. Now, I think the elephant at the back there has seen us. She definitely can't smell us. The wind's blowing from them straight to us. But she's just turning her head every so often to look here. Michael, you want to know if I get just a new feeling? I didn't quite copy your question, Michael. You want to know if I get a new feeling, or perhaps this every time I see elephants? It's not a new feeling, it's a familiar one, but it's certainly one that is very pleasurable indeed. You know, we spotted those zebras, and I thought, okay, we'll just do a segment on the zebra, and then we heard the elephant crashing, and I thought to myself, gosh, it'll be amazing to watch these things. And I've seen, I don't know how many times I've seen elephants on foot, and it's so very special to spend time with them on foot. There's a herd here probably of about, maybe 10. It's not big. Sorry, Kirsten, you'll have... Right, we have got a new group of viewers on Facebook enjoying the sighting of elephants in the southeastern fringes of South Africa and the great Kruger National Park. We're sitting here on foot, completely live, with a herd of probably 10 elephants or so. You can send us any questions or comments you might have in the comments section of this Facebook broadcast. My name is James Henry. It's lovely to have you with us. What a perfect way to spend a Sunday morning. Like I say, probably about 10 elephants there, sitting at about, I'm going to say, 300 feet from us. The bush is quite thick here, so we're going to stay at this distance. We don't want to get too close to them. The wind is perfect for us. It's blowing from them towards us. And elephants are supposed not to have good sight, but I think these things see rather well. Now, Emmy, you're wondering how fast they charge. Well, they charge... Now, the wind is swirling. They charge faster than we could ever run. So probably at about 35 miles an hour. It might be slightly fast, but pretty close to 35 miles an hour. And I'd always like to give the example of Usain Bolt, who can run the 100 meters in 10 seconds. He's running then at 36 kilometers an hour, which is roughly 25 miles an hour. So not even he would outrun an elephant in full charge. The point is, though, these elephants wouldn't charge us by default. They'd move away if they could. Their overwhelming response to human beings is one of fear, and that's why they become aggressive sometimes. Oh, this is wonderful. I tell you, there's nothing quite like seeing animals like this on foot to connect you to the earth and to the wilderness, and just it cracks open some kind of emotional response, or it cracks open an ability to absorb the... One hesitates to use the word spirit, but I suppose it is a spirit of the wilderness, or energy of the earth, if you like. Very special. All right, what we'll try and do is get another view of them. just to explain, the point here is to view them without them knowing that we're here. We don't want to stress them. We want to have as little effect on their behavior as possible. And so what we'll do is, rather than walking straight towards them, we'll try and walk parallel with them and parallel with the wind, so that the wind doesn't ever give an indication of our smell to them. And it's always interesting to note how quickly they respond to the smell of us, rather than the sight. ML, you ask a very good question. You say, since the elephants can most likely hear us, wouldn't they feel like they're being hunted? I don't think they can hear us at all from here. The wind makes a difference. I mean, there's a gentle breeze blowing. We're careful where we walk, and you can hear them talking very quietly. At 300 feet or so, I don't think they'll hear me talking at this volume. I'm pretty sure that they will not. But yes, absolutely, you do not want the sound of feet to... Sorry, we have the cameraman stuck again on a bush. You don't want the sound to reach their ears, because absolutely they will respond to it. But it is the smell that they respond to the most. They do not like the smell of human beings. Sorry, cameraman stuck again. He's got an enormous aerial sticking out the back, and that's why he keeps getting sort of stuck on bushes. Okay, so they're moving down through there. We're just going to go towards another termite mound there. We need vantage and we need cover. And then that way we don't have to get too close to them to view them. And all around us the sounds of the morning are building. It's just after, well, it's probably nearly 6 o'clock here in South Africa in the morning. Got rattling testiculars going. Psh, 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 psh. Franklins, which are little ground birds calling in the distance. And it's always amazing to me how fast elephants can walk. And silently, completely silently. Much more silently even than we as human beings can walk. Especially if you're not sort of trained to walk very quietly or practiced in it. Anna-Marie, you're wondering about vibrations and whether they can feel the vibrations of humans approaching. I suspect that question comes possibly from your knowledge of the fact that we think that they communicate with each other by stamping on the ground sometimes. I don't think they can. I don't think we're heavy enough. I see if we got close enough maybe, and maybe if we made a big thump on the floor quite close by, they might hear us. But no, I don't think at the moment. We're walking very carefully. Our feet, we're watching where we put our feet. So no, I don't think they can hear our vibrations. Maybe an extremely enormous human being, but I'm certainly not one of those. Okay, so what Rexon is doing, Rexon is in front there, he's the tracker. Highly skilled individual. And what he's doing is moving from termite mound to termite mound, to these huge castles of clay, because they offer us the best vantage points and points or waypoints from which to extract from a situation if the elephants should become aware of us. I can just hear the rustling of the bushes down through here. Lily Lee, very nice question. You say, do I dress in camouflage? You can see that I don't dress in camouflage. It's partly because I'm not in the military, and partly because I don't think it makes any difference out here. Sometimes you'll find hunters dress in camouflage, but I don't. I don't think it's necessary. The big thing about us is to wear neutral colours, so you don't want to be seen. Watch out, Senzo. You don't want to be seen. But if you... I'm just talking to Rexon. There's a termite mound there. He can hear them again and see them again. So Lily B, you want to wear neutral colours that blend in with the surroundings. So grey, olivey brown are the best sort of colours to wear out here. Pale blue sometimes as well. You could wear camouflage as well, but I just find it a bit military for my taste. You could if you wanted to. It's not necessary though. Interestingly, khaki, which a lot of people wear, is a very bad colour to wear out here. Well, not very bad, but it tends to lighten over time, and you can see it moving through the bush quite easily. So they're still moving down along the drainage system. We can still hear them. We could walk straight. There they are. There they are. Let's carry on. We don't want to walk straight towards them because between us and them there is no termite mound. We're nearly there. I know that this is a bit bouncy, walking along like this quite quickly, but I think we're about to get a really nice view of them. There's a big termite mound up ahead. I can just see the whiteness of their tusks moving through the bush. Now we need to be very quiet and make sure that even though we can see an elephant there could be others around. And Kerry, you say this is so exciting. Yes, it absolutely is. It's very special, and like I say, I still haven't quite found the words to describe what it does to me to be able to spend time with animals like this on foot. But the best I can say is that it creates some kind of fissure in my emotional makeup that allows me to connect. There they are, there they are. We just need to try and get the cameraman up here. Come on, Senzel. There they are. You can see them walking away there. They're moving down towards the thicker bush. It's not a great view, I know. Yeah, you come on top. There we go. Senzel's gained some height now. Now you saw how fast we were walking there, and those elephants are feeding and strolling. They move with amazing speed. I suppose it's not that amazing given their size. And we were talking about camouflage a little bit earlier. Look how their grey colour blends into the bush. It's a fantastic colour to be if you're out here. If they stood still, you could easily walk past them without even knowing that they were there. There's another one coming. We should be able to get a decent view. There it comes. Can you see it, Sind? Silent, almost completely silent. Now we're in no danger here, we're not close to them at all, and to try and get closer to these chaps will be quite difficult. We might follow them for a little bit longer, just see if we can't find another vantage, but as always, our plan here is to have as little effect on their lives as possible. Okay, for those of you watching on Facebook, we might try and get another view. We'll assess the bush in front of us, and then we might go live again. But until then, I hope that you have enjoyed our little Sunday morning stroll with the elephants here in Africa. We'll see you again shortly. You can join us, of course, on wildsafarilive.com for the rest of our drive. Alright, we're going to try and get another view, everybody. Senzel is going to probably roll down this hill because it's quite slippery, and he's got himself a number of wires that he keeps getting stuck on things. Okay, while we try and get another view, let's go back across to Noelle and see how her lion hunt is progressing.
Hello. So we were just contemplating about our lions, and now we've picked up tracks. The way that the soil is after our bit of heavy-ish rain yesterday evening is a little bit difficult, so we're just trying to get direction. It's a lot of the youngsters that have walked down here, so I'm still debating. How amazing was that sighting with James? Elephants on foot are always fabulous, and to be able to start off our morning with such a great sighting, I'm actually a wee bit jealous. Just a wee bit. I have a feeling that these lions are moving this way down the road, but I just want to roll forward while you're with me and see, because I'm only picking up toes. Now, I should be able to take toes and say, oh, they're this side. For me, with this overcast light and the white soil, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult, so always getting down and having a look is much better. So I'm actually going to unplug and try and have you come with me while I inspect. Got one here, here, but it is interesting. It's looking like just the youngsters are sort of playing around. So what would have happened is they would have moved yesterday when we saw them. Shortly after that, it started raining. I think Jean-Andre and I discussed maybe like 8:30 our time. So they would have started moving just before then it would have rained on them, they would have hunkered down, and then they would have moved after. So these tracks are after rain, and also that rain was so hectic that I don't know if we would be picking up any tracks. I'm debating. I'm severely debating. Okay, what we are going to do is we're going to turn around and we're going to head back towards the cut line and then drive the cut line, because I'd rather know now if they've crossed out than in an hour's time or half hour's time as we loop around. So let's do that. And see what we find. Maybe they'll be on the cut line with a kill. That's my request for this morning. Ooh, James has another view of the Ellies. Let's go back to him while I bumble about tracking.
There they are again. We've come down a little bit further south. The elephants are now, well, we've come south and east basically into the wind, and they've turned slowly now, and they're heading now due east and a little bit north to the valley of the great Umluamati drainage. Now I can only see 2 of them at the moment. The rest are in there somewhere feeding. And once they cross out of here, that will be our last view of them. Beautiful, eh? Such a still morning. Bit of a breeze, the odd drop of water floating down from the sky, and some really good rain last night, so there's an air of expectation about the wilderness at the moment. It's a pity I don't think you can hear all of the ambient sound around us, oxpeckers and francolins shouting. It's almost as if the birds have, or are having some sort of celebration after the really good rain we had last night, in anticipation of the flushes of green grass, the flowers, the insects. You might be able to hear that one going. Waxbills, and spot battises, white-browed scrub robins, brews, and of course every so often the breaking of a branch by an elephant. That's a crested francolin calling. And there's some apellices down there. Toop, 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 toop. In fact, probably a tawny flanked prunier Very, very special indeed. Right. Well, I think we'll probably let those fat chaps just drift gently towards the Umgwamati. We're going to turn around and head back towards Treehouse Dam. Wonderful sighting that. Let's head now. Let's head all the way back to Kenya now, to Taylor, who I believe is also drifting slowly down towards the great river that we call the Mara.
I've stolen you away from James, just because I'm about to lose signal, not right now, but in a little bit further along, once we go right down below Serena and then start on the river circuit along the Mara River. Now, I had one of the funniest experiences. I have funny experiences all the time. I try and take life, well, I try not to take life too seriously. And as we were driving, with a bit of speed, the limit though, trying to make sure we get down to the area as quickly as we can, there was obviously a big herd of buffalo that had moved through in the evening, and there were lots of little dung patties down on the ground. Anyways, and I always try and avoid dung, and you should never drive over any animal dung because of the amount of different insects that will live in it and utilize it. For instance, dung beetles. Today is a particularly cold morning, so I didn't think they would be too active, barring maybe a couple of flies. Anyways, I could not avoid this one, and I hit it. I've never seen exploding buffalo dung in my entire life. It was incredible. I had to duck. I think I might even have some on the windscreen. It was crazy. My tire hit it, and I imagine that I was in a war somewhere and I'd hit a landmine. It was crazy. And the sound that it made as well was pretty impressive. It got me giggling. I giggled quite a bit that I even started crying. So it was something funny that happened to me this morning. But yes, try avoid all dung, because you don't want to squash all the insects that are inside it. So we haven't actually seen much at all. We've seen lots of signs of animals. We did see a herd of elephants in the distance. We saw their dung too, buffalo dung, and then that's really it. There is nothing in the triangle at the moment, well, up here. So I'm hoping that if it is so quiet up here, the rest of the game must be further down in the west and in the south, surely. So hopefully when we head along the river, we'll start to see a few more animals popping up here and there, and we'll just sort of take it from there. I did see two big males the last time I was down there, when I came back from the other side of the river. I'm not sure who they were. We put one on camera very briefly, but we had very bad comms, so we couldn't take too many questions. But he had looked like his nose was slightly disformed, or disfigured. And I don't know if that means anything to any of you, but if it does, he was a big male lion. There were two of them. They both had lovely black manes. His mane was slightly more blonde. I might have a picture somewhere. I have to just search for it. But if any of you remember that sighting, I'm hoping we come across those boys again, because those are two new male lions for me. So remember, #SafariLive if you do have any information on that. And then Kirsten Alice will tell me about it, which will be very exciting. Or I'll just look for it later after game drive. That's the other thing. Maybe we see Maji Machafu, who is a beautiful female leopard that's got a sub-adult that hangs down quite close to the Purangat Bridge. Oh my gosh, I just heard cursed. That was nice. Right, anyways, I'm going to send you back to South Africa because we're about to lose signal. And I wish well all the luck in trying to find those sneaking kuhumas.
Hello, hello. We have not found any more of our lion tracks, but we have found quite fresh leopard tracks being followed by a hyena. So we are going to carry on down this road. Thank goodness they're walking down the road, checking on the leopard tracks, as well as seeing if our lion tracks come over. Remember, with the rain washes away territorial markings. So male leopard, female lion, male lion, they all mark with urine. Look, there's other territorial creatures that do that as well, but for now we're going to stick with them. And so the rain comes and washes it away, which means that they need to remark. And so one of the reasons why this leopard is walking down the road the way that it is possibly that this is a boundary and this is where they want to mark. Another reason would be Walking through taller grass when it's wet is uncomfortable for lion and for leopard. So I just want to check this junction nicely. Because they don't always take the corners, a lot of the times they cut the corners. So that leopard moved over that way. Our general direction of our lions was moving through this way. So we're at a crossroads. I think let's go down. I think let's stick with our lions. Leopards will pop up when they will. Let's stick with our lions. We had them nicely yesterday, but we haven't spent a lot of time with them here in the sands. Okay. I don't know, maybe we'll get lucky and the leopard and lion will be together. The leopard will be in the tree and the lions will be on the bottom. You never know. The tracks that we had just now were definitely after the rain, so any tracks that we pick up this far of the lions are also going to be after that heavy downpour. And we've taken a wide loop, and then if we don't pick up anything on the edge of the wide loop, we're going to then take a smaller loop inside. They're here! Jandre, we've got the aardvark tracks again. Don't run them over, Noel. Let me position. This is not the same aardvark. We're far from where we were. But I've been really excited to show you all aardvark tracks. Okay. Jandre, does this one show up nicely? Yeah, okay. So because this soil is a little bit deep, they're digging in, so it's hard to see. Sometimes these can be confused with warthog tracks, track-on-track warthog tracks. But what I'm basically looking at is, so aardvarks have 5 toes, but 3 that show prominently, especially when they're digging, when they're walking. So we've got 1, 2, 3 toes, and the part that you're seeing digging in here are those really long claws. And this guy, oh, this is going to be super thrilled. This guy is after the rain. Yes, I would say maybe a half an hour ago from what I can see here. Possibly an hour, but not longer than that. Trucking down the road. So this is left and this is right. You can actually see the line like we've been talking about. Here's the line down the middle. So the right-hand side of the animal, left. This is the front here. Here's a front, and then you've got a back here. You've got a back on top of a front there. Super exciting. And then he's walked down like this, and he's come across here, and then into the bush, searching for termites and ants. They eat both. I'm going to mispronounce this word, but this can be your word of the day. Myrmecophagy. It's the worst pronunciation, but it's basically saying that they eat ants and termites. It's M-Y-R-A. Ooh. Let me find it for you before I really mess up the spelling. But that's super exciting, and another new track to add to all of our little tracks that we've been picking up over the past week. But back to our lions. Let's hope this aardvark didn't run into our lions and get eaten. Oh, we've got Scotty D. He's looking for some cheetah for us. Let's head up that side and see if he manages to come up with a spotted friend to show to you all.
Hello, everyone. I think we may have found where the cheetah are. Mano, if you go directly above that white car, and then in the distance you can see a whole bunch of vehicles there. And all those vehicles, to me, means there's definitely a predator, and I'm guessing it could well be the musketeer coalition. So there's only one way to find out. We need to rush across there. Exciting stuff. It's a long way off, as you would have noticed when Manu zooms out. But what is our best way there? Okie dokie. I'm going to have to drop the old clutch. Whoop! And get there as quick as possible. There looks like there's quite a lot of game in that area, so we wouldn't want to miss out on any hunting. It's one of the worst feelings when you know there's something waiting for you, but you don't know what they're doing, so we can't take any chances. Let's hustle along. We've been working this area for quite a while with no joy. They were apparently making their way back in an easterly direction last night, but they must have cut a bit further south to end up where all those vehicles are, if it is in fact them. Lost track of where all those vehicles were now, but we should be able to work it out. Just gonna have a quick stop and get my bearings again quickly, just work out what our best plan of attack is here. Okay, we've still got a way off. We should be there in about 5 or 10 minutes. So we're gonna send you off to James so as to not rattle yourselves to pieces. Off you go, back to bushwalk.
It is always amazing to me how you can say that in the Mara. We are 5 to 10 minutes away from the animals we can actually see. And of course, 5 to 10 minutes away in this place, well, you can't see more than 10 seconds in front of you in many parts of this reserve. So completely different parts of the wilderness. So we've left the elephants, as I said we were going to. We're heading now towards Treehouse Dam. Very pleasant morning until I got right where I am over here. And I'm now assailed with nostalgia for the times I spent in this area with Kurula, Shongile and Hosana when they were a happy family. How things don't stay the same, aren't we reminded of that all the time out here in the wild? The ebbs and flows of emotion that take us. It's never a consistent wave. Michael, you're wondering about spiders and golden orbweb spiders and whether we can expect to see them again now. Yes, we will. They'll probably start fairly soon, but normally, of course, they are seen in January and February. That's when they're most around. So I think that what happens, we think they only live for one season, and they'll probably start hatching now out of the sand in the rain, or because we've had rain, and they'll now start growing and building their little webs. So they're not very obvious now, but they must be around somewhere, because by the time we really start to notice them, you know, they can be sort of palm-sized. So, yeah, they'll be around, but we won't start to see those magnificent sort of they're not gossamer. I mean, they're golden, completely golden webs strung all through just about every single bush until the heat comes in February and January, I think. Beautiful morning. I'm so pleased the rain has held off, allowing us to have our little walk. We nearly had to go back to the tent today. Now, here's something quite interesting. And you come over here, Senzo. I hate to trouble you too much. But this is a very interesting property that trees have. And this particular tree, I think, Yeah, this particular tree is a whiteberry bush, or Flugia virosa. Now, it's been chopped off at the base, and it's been chopped off at the base by a human being that has chopped it in order to make this fire break area here. So should a fire sort of start around here, this would be the sort of line from which you'd fight it if it was coming from the south. And what is so astonishing is that it has managed to grow again. So it's been coppiced, or it has coppiced, and that means that it's putting up a whole lot of new shoots, and rather than dying, it's just going to get quite a lot thicker. If it was hammered sufficiently often like this, well, then it eventually would die. But there's lots of nutrients in the rootstock. And what's really interesting about it is that it gives us a sort of micro view of how vegetation structure changes in the face of big browsing pressure. And of course, the biggest browsers out here are elephants. Now, if you look around us, you will see that this is a particularly thick area. And it's very interesting, having come back from the Mara, to have read that before elephant numbers came up again after they were kind of wiped out in the area in the early parts of the 20th century, it was with their increasing numbers that bush began to sort of really losing my words today, that bush began to recede and the grasslands began to take over. And over here, of course, in the Kruger, the elephants have been falsely managed. Their numbers have been falsely managed until about, maybe 25 years ago or so. And until then, they were maintained at 7,500 elephants in the whole Kruger Park. Now, it is my firm opinion that this area would be much more open than it is. Perhaps not quite like the Mara, but certainly much more open than it is now. And I think that it's like this because the elephant numbers have been sort of falsely maintained. And the point of that story, or to link it to that, is that it's that kind of browsing pressure that eventually kills these trees off. It changes the structure of the vegetation. Right, good. I don't know what happened to my words. Right, Rexon has spotted something else up here. Let's go and have a look and see what it is. He's now moving on, so it's obviously not something particularly terrifying. Oh. Is it a snake skin? No, that's a stick. It's always quite embarrassing when he finds something, circles it and then moves on, and then I can't find it. Let's see what he found at the base of this tree. Oh, he's written something here. He says, "Dog in the PM. Wild dogs came past here yesterday afternoon." That's very exciting. You see the note that we have written there? So he says, wild dogs came wandering past here yesterday afternoon. Gosh, it would be wonderful to find them. Obviously the tracks are not particularly clear. There's one. You see it there? This is wonderful. In fact, I'm not sure. Yeah, it says PM, but I mean that looks like it's on top of the rain to me. No, it's not. There's a crust. It's underneath the rain. So there is the dog track. It's quite a big dog track. You can see there, there are the claws, and it differentiates, or is different from a hyena track because it is much more elongated. There you can see. And of course it's very symmetrical. Two small back pads and the front pads, all very nicely symmetrical. A hyena track looks a little bit like a hyena in that it's kind of squished up and slightly asymmetrical. Very nice. Wild dog, eh? Right, let's see if we can find where these chaps went. Noelle is now, I hope, heading towards a leopard sighting. Let's find out from her how that's going.
Hi, no, I am not heading towards any leopard. That leopard is moving into an area that we are not going to be following through, so I'm not going to head there. I'm actually going to follow up on these wild dog tracks. I don't usually leave, excuse me, I don't usually leave lion tracks like what we were doing now, but we haven't seen wild dogs yet. It's something I'd like to do. They move very, very quickly, so I am trying to get into the area where we can best try and pick them up and try and view them. So it's going to take me a little while. I'm going to be rushing to get to that side. Wild dogs do not move slowly. So I am definitely going to do my best, but I'm pushing it at the moment. So excuse all the bumps. Yeah, wild dogs, especially on a morning like this, and we don't know if they've eaten, they really can move great distances. Sorry. So yeah, so I'm just trying to get my closest, trying to get there as best as I can. I'm not quite sure what everybody else is up to at the moment, but this is our plan for today. I'm actually going to have to go back past camp and then head over to the west and then go south to get us close enough and moving at a speed that if I had guessed I would never be moving on. Alright. So it's super exciting. But other than that, not really much else to report. Sorry, Curse, go again. Okay, copy. Yeah, okay, we are gonna have to loop around in a different direction. It's gonna take me a good 5 to 10 minutes to get into the area where I can start tracking these dogs appropriately. And there's not really much else going on around, especially because we're heading straight, trying to get straight to that area. Some elephant tracks around. I believe that's probably from the elephants you saw with James earlier. Oh, we have some zebra, which I'm gonna very quickly show you. Wild dogs move too quickly for me to stay very long, but zebra is not something we see often. So there's your zebra for today, everybody. Unfortunately, zebras, we love you, but wild dogs are on the list, so we are going to love you and leave you. I'm very sorry, viewers, but the prospect of dogs is too good. Not quite sure. Maybe James is still on the tracks with Rexon and his crew. We're up on a little bit of a crest. Proud Cat Mama, you're asking about wild dogs if they're dangerous when you're on foot. No, there are no recorded instances of wild dogs touching humans ever. Remember, African wild dogs are not related to domesticated dogs. 3 million years ago, there was a common ancestor between African wild dogs and wolves, and then they split. And then off the wolves came domesticated dogs. So I know in many places across the world you get these packs of what are feral dogs. So domesticated dogs that have gone wild, and I'm using my air buddies on that because I want to keep the word wild for our African wild dog and not for feral dogs. And they can be a little bit more vicious, but they have connotations that are negative towards humans. As an African wild dog, he really doesn't care. He doesn't care what you do or where you go or how you do it. He's just going to carry on. So being on foot with them, no issue whatsoever. Good question. All right, let's head over to James and see what he has in store for us.
We've got some I feel... yes, we're live. We're live. We've got something, that was Senzo asking me if we're live. We've got some animals here that I feel slightly strange that I'm so excited to see, given the number of them that I've seen in the Mara of late. We've got 3 wildebeest. Hello guys, I saw your cousins, lots of them. There they are. It's actually only, is it 3? Yes, 3. A vast herd. There they are, teeming across the woodland. My first sighting of a gnu since returning from East Africa. The gnu, of course, out here not doing nearly as well as the gnu of East Africa. They've wandered off into the bush there. They weren't very happy to see us. Let's see if we can't get some height and have another look. The difference here, of course, being the fact that they don't have a white beard or white tip to the tail. There they are. They're also not being harassed, of course, by 5 cheetah brothers, which is quite nice for them. Gorgeous. That's actually a really nice little shot there. And then way in the distance there's some impala looking at us. You see them, Sens? Down through the drainage up the other side. There's just that lovely russet colour you can see. No, they're not looking at us at all, they're just browsing. Hornbills calling, gentle breeze a blowing. Ah, very pleasant. And I can hear some ground hornbills way in the distance. Not very brave, those wildebeest, unfortunately. They have now headed off. Here's a hornbill coming. Ooh, it's carrying food. I wonder if there isn't a nest. This, of course, is great nesting time, especially for hornbills. Let's just watch them. They're moving off, the 2 of them going together, so I guess it's unlikely there's a nest, because one of them would probably be inside the nest, the female. Now, of course, the greatest nest finder in all of Africa, possibly from a childhood of nest robbing, but we won't hold that against him, is sitting chasing cheetah in East Africa as we speak. Scott Dyson will find you a nest faster than you and I will find ourselves breakfast. And so we will attempt to replicate his efforts during the summer months. Come on, Senzo, get off that termite mound. Let's go towards the dam. Okay, let's go back to him now and see if he has got the musketeers. It is going to take exactly 8 seconds from now to get to Scott. There are various delays and bits and pieces. We have to fly all the way 2,500 miles.
I think we may have seen a convoy of vehicles that were together because they were all heading to the same place. And that place is where the balloons land. So I think we just did a massive race for nothing. We can see where balloons landed and a whole bunch of vehicles, and they were all the same vehicles that were slowly making their way in this direction. So I think that was a false alarm. Oh well, that was exciting. Still lots of time left. The rest of the day, basically, to continue searching. So it's all good. I really thought we were on the money there.
but no joy. We have got reports of the two sisters. They're around Paradise Plains, as well as Malaika and her two boys. They are in between the two crossings that create double crossing, which is it's quite away from here. And the main issue is that in that area between the two crossings, there is no network. So we wouldn't be able to share whatever Malaika and her boys get up to from that area. So we're gonna not use that info and continue to just keep scratching around here in the hope that at some point the 5 boys will pop up. I'm almost certain at some point they will get found. They get found almost every day. It's just a matter of when, and also a matter of when we actually get that information. Hi Lauren, you'd like to know if the 5 brothers would stay together forever? At this point we're actually not sure if they are brothers, and there's a strong likelihood that they are actually not. So they could have joined forces, 2 different litters, who knows, 3 different groups could have joined up, 2, 2, 1 or 2 and 3. And so we're not sure about the exact background. And in terms of their future, will they stay together? It's hard to be certain. It's often that big coalitions like that do split up at some point. Just spotted a few more vehicles. So when you see a stationary vehicle, it's always worth stopping and trying to investigate what they're looking at. I can't tell from here what it is they stop next. It doesn't look like Chitwa though. It takes a bit of getting used to scanning these huge distances and working out what's what from a big distance away. Well, it certainly is a beautiful, beautiful morning here. As and when the sun breaks through the clouds, you're about to get to an area where it is doing just that. Ta-da! Very pretty. Hello, Becca. You'd like to know which animal has the largest territory. And it's a tricky one because you get some animals that don't actually have territories, they have home ranges. So they are not necessarily bound to a set spot. How beautiful is that? Like wild dogs. But in terms of territorial animals, I'd say male lions can have huge territories, but it will all depend on the area that they are in. Territory sizes fluctuate greatly depending on other competition, food, so it's going to be a tricky question to answer categorically because it will vary from place to place. I.e., the leopard and the Sabi sands have got small territories because there's a lot of them, there's a lot of competition, and on top of that, it's a good habitat for them, so they don't need huge territories. Whereas in other areas, in drier desert-like areas where there's a smaller population of that same species, they will have much larger territories. Okay, well, I've had a good scan of this area with my binoculars. No clear sign of the boys. The scary thing is that even if you're close to them and if they're just lying down in a bush or just lying down even in the open, it's quite easy to overlook them because they can really pancake themselves down to the ground. Where to go next? Not easy to make these decisions. Alright, well, while we try and decide what to do, we are going to send you back to Taylor, who is just cruising around, it sounds like.
I think it's, yeah, I can't see Angama. Let me blitz through it quickly. Oh, hello everybody. Did you hear me say blitz? I was talking about blitzing through this lugger, which is very South African of me, which meant that I was going to go quickly through it. We're having some comms issues, so you will be hearing Kirsty's voice, aka Ginger Snap, aka K-Tart. The Purung. Now we've just got to find the cheetah and the lions and the leopard and all the other animals that like to hang around here, which will be quite very.
Hello. So we have gotten to the area where the wild dog tracks were headed, at least the last update that I have. So what we're doing now is we're pottering along, trying to see if these dogs are going to come out. We haven't seen any tracks that say that they've crossed over the cut line, which is good for us because we want to actually see these dogs today. So we're just going to pull loops around in this area and see what's up. With their general direction, they were headed north, and then they're headed southwest, and then they're headed here and headed there. Very typical of wild dog. They're probably out hunting, but also just in general, they're up and down and zigzagging here and there. So we have to get our good wild dog vibes on with fingers, toes, arms, everything crossed, hold thumbs. I haven't seen wild dogs we're in November, in 6 weeks. So I'm jonesing for some wild dogs. I would really love to see some dogs. The last sighting I had of wild dogs was a sighting, I think I talked about it the other night, where we finished with sundowners and then they came and chased hyena around. Not here, this was up in Zambia, and that's the last time that I've seen them. So we are going to definitely do our best for you, but also selfishly for us. And then since Jean-Andre's been back, he's also been asking for wild dogs, so we're very excited. Colbert, you're asking what animal would I like to have a chance to track that I haven't. So Colbert, usually with the tracking and with the trailing, with the following, we're following one of the big five. That's usually what we do. So I've spent time with all of them. I've spent a considerable amount of time with both species of rhino, elephant, lion, and buffalo. I have not spent as much time trailing leopard on foot. So that's something that I'm busy working on and building up. And both Herbie and Rexon are extremely good at doing that. So I'm excited working with them and picking up new things every day. Regarding that. So for me, yeah, more time with leopard. Sorry everyone, I'm just triple checking my road here. And then we're just gonna make another big loop. It's hard on vehicle tracking animals where we haven't seen the tracks. We're going by what other people are saying. Although I believe the last update given was from Rexon when you all were busy with James with his dog tracks. And I trust Rexon and James inherently. So let's just hope that the dogs don't have too much ADD and too much zigzag behavior within this block and that they pop up. It would be nice if maybe they were just standing in the road. But that does not always happen. I believe the question is there a particular breeding season for wild dog? I'm sorry, Curse, was that Becca that asked that? All right. So Becca, you are correct. There is a particular season. They tend to do it July, August. And that's in my experience. So in 5 different reserves on 3 different countries where I've worked, that's been when they've had den sites. So they den sort of end of July, have pups around sort of beginning of August in general, but it can move within those months, sometimes as far as September. The most pups I've ever heard of them having is 22. The average that I've personally seen is between 8 and 12, with about 9 to 10 surviving. I'm looking all around. Sorry, my eye contact with you all is not the best at the moment because I am trying to look at as much of my area as possible, because sometimes all you're going to see is just a little tail running through. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they'll all come across. Sometimes when the grass is high, they just do this little bounding thing. If they're lying in the grass, you'll just maybe get an ear or a twitch. Ooh, we've got Taylor up in Kenya. She's busy driving around. So we are going to head back up to her and see what she has in store. Maybe she bumps into something amazing to show you.
We're back. The gremlins took us, but we fought them off, and we're here again. So we're still edging very slowly along the Mara River. Brent always tells me I must go up Happy Valley, but I decided not to. That's down that way, just for now, because I want to have a quick look around and see what's lurking about on this side, because it's actually quite difficult when you're driving around this side. If you go down there, then you could miss everything that could be happening around here. So I just want to climb onto a crest, have a scan around, see if we can see any vehicles. Maybe everyone's gone down to the border. So I haven't quite decided yet what we're going to do. If we're going to hug and we're going to head towards the bridge and then go right back towards the Tanzanian border. It's looking a bit quiet here. Well, there are pockets of animals, definitely more pockets of game than there is in the further north up in the triangle. Some zebra, we saw some wildebeest, quite a few topi, Thompson's gazelle, all around, even the impala out and about today. So I think if we just check very, very carefully, we might find little surprises, maybe sitting under some trees. But again, I haven't got wind of anything just yet. Everybody's raced off past me, and I just had to eat their dust this morning. No, those are very antelope, very far away. It's tricky, especially when you're looking for cheetah.
Did you find an alliteration for driving through luggage?
Ah.
How about allegedly logging out? Shamsa?
Now, Shamsan, you're wondering if I found any alliteration for my sort of driving about in the luggers, and you said allegedly lollygag. Lollygag? That's quite cool. I like that. No, I never got anything back. I actually can't even remember being tagged anything, but I think what could have happened, could be partially my fault, is that when I was asking for all those things, I was on the other side of the river and I didn't really have any good signal, so I couldn't even go on Twitter after Game Drive to have a look. So if you did perhaps have a great way that we can describe how we drive about along the luggers searching for animals, but it has to be alliteration, yeah, send them through. Hashtag Safari-Light. Maybe we can go into it again. Maybe everyone's got some new inspiration this morning. So that could be quite cool, because we tend to do that a lot, don't you? I will try and think of some as I'm feeling a little bit creative today. We'll see. I just really want to see some animals. There's so many things here that I want to see again. I want to see those male lions that I saw that I have absolutely no idea who they were. I would also like to see the leucistic hyenas, and I want to see cheetah. And the leopard. We're actually coming up to the leopard lugger now. Let's check very carefully here. There's cars. Hang on. Wag net 'n bietjie. Let's just wait a minute. I'm actually not really doing an illegal maneuver because I can off-road here. I think maybe we're going to be in luck for some cheetah. I just want to check. I see some cars in Happy Valley, funny enough. No, you didn't stop there for long enough. Is there more than one? Straight down there. Now, of course, I've hidden it. What is that? Is it a zebra? Or wildebeest? Something moving. I heard a zebra. Okay, no, hang on. Maybe I panicked too soon. Maybe they were just having a look at those beautiful creatures with stripes, and they are lovely, walking in a straight line. But there is a pride of lions that hangs around this lugger too. I think, okay, change my mind. We're going to hug it. We're going to hug the lugger. We're going to go all the way around. And I think we're going to try either find that pride of lions. And I have seen the border boys up here before. Remember, we had a really nice sight. They just killed a baby warthog. I think we missed it by about half an hour, but it's an exceptionally long drive from Angama side, from the northern parts of the triangle. And they were just actually sitting up on top of this hill. Remember, it was really cool. That Serena guy, he flashed his lights at us to let us know. And we're doing the same, basically exactly the same thing we were saying about how the day. Maybe we won't need any saving. Maybe we'll just find our own animals. There's a few cars here, a few different colored cars driving around. So we'll keep going.
Search, we can link to your hero and idol.
I bet Kirsty, you said that out loud. Everybody can hear. Right, we're gonna go across to South Africa now while I search for some lions. And my hero, my idol, my inspiration in the guiding industry is probably going to give you some interesting things to look at.
Trying to make myself blush. Okay, you know, of course, that Taylor's being utterly sarcastic there, don't you? Good, let's go. Let's look over here. Rexon, in his genius, has managed to find tracks of a leopard. Shadow, we think, and her cub, two of them. Now, we're on the road that leads to Treehouse Dam. We've turned round. And in this square, believe it or not, is a track of a leopard. Wouldn't have believed it myself unless Rexon had said so, and I'd seen more obvious ones further back from here. So what we're going to do is try and follow these. What I think is that Noelle found, of course, this little cub around here 2 days ago. She spent some time with it. I'm sure he was, or she was around here yesterday, probably. Shadow's come back and has fetched her, clearly. Whether they're going to a kill or not, I don't know, but we'll follow up and see if we don't get lucky. Noelle's also in this area, so she too might be lucky enough to bump Shadow and cub. So that's the plan from here. Rexon did say at the very beginning of the drive that he hoped to find himself a leopard track and then the leopard on a kill. So looks like his dreams might come true, you know. So sometimes dreams do come true. They do. Just look at Taylor, for example. She's got to work with her idol now. She wakes up very happy every single day because of it. Lily, are you wondering about my walking stick? You say, why do I need it? Is that correct? Right. I need it because I'm very old, Lily. I'm 41 now, you see. And so I need my stick to help me navigate my arthritis, stiff limbs. No, Lily, it's not a walking stick, it's a kind of pointing stick. I've always liked to carry a stick. Brent also likes to carry a stick when he walks. It's quite useful for pointing at things, and it's just, I don't know, it gives me something to do with my hands. There's no real reason to carry it. It serves no really practical function at all, other than just satisfying my enjoyment of holding a stick. I suppose it'd be quite nice if it was a sword, but it isn't. Okay, over here we have the recently sprung baboon's tail. And it is amazing to me how these plants manage to explode out of the ground as soon as there is the slightest moisture. Now, when I arrived here 2 days back, there was no sign of the leaves. We've had 2 nights of rain now, and here they are. They have exploded into life. And that is the baboon's tail, and very shortly they'll produce magnificent little soft mauve flowers. They don't smell of a great deal. And then as soon as it gets dry again, they'll just wither and disappear. And I think, as I've explained before, come over here, Sinzel, I think the manner in which they do this, or the method that they use, is that they have very spongy trunks or stems, and those spongy stems allow them to suck up water very rapidly. Now, I saw an amazing thing here. All right, let's just have a quick look here, Sinzel, if you wouldn't mind. And we'll send you over from tiger stripes here all the way up to the Mara and some cheetah spots. So now we're going to go only in 10 seconds. Okay, so there we have a gorgeous millipede of orange and black. And we'll now go to spots of black and yellow.
The musketeers, but we have found a single female cheetah.